Okay, y'all, let me test. I tried to do this and I didn't have all my steps. That's why we can't ever fall off. We can't ever fall off because then you start forgetting the rules and your to-do list and everything like that. So let me make sure. Okay, we're live. Okay. All right, y'all. So let me get my to-do list. We have a lot to talk about, y'all. We have a lot to talk about. Today is going to be a little heavy. I hope that the lighting is good because it's raining outside. Like, it literally started raining and then it's like a little later. So we have a light and we have those lights in the back. Hopefully that's good. Hopefully that's going to give you a little something so you can see, right? Because my eyes be, getting older. Let me tell you. So tell me why I spent the entire year thinking that I was 30, going on 31. And now one of y'all told me, like, hey, girl, you turned 30 already, right? You're already like 31. You'll be 32 this year. Nobody said that. My coworkers like, girl, how many times you gonna turn? I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about my math. Don't worry about my math. Anyway, I'm testing, make sure everything is good. Okay, so we have a break and I had this idea to do streamtober where I stream every day, and I feel like we're already messing up, y'all, because this is day 3. Day 3. I was like, ooh, but it's Friday, okay? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was a lot for me, okay? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was a lot, dealing with a lot. Okay, so tell me why. I had a family member pass away. I was at work or whatever. And look, I'm at work and it seemed like, I'm not going to say it, I don't want to speak that energy in, but it's just like, it seemed like a lot of people have just been, it's not the rapture, but it's given because I'm making bereavement cards every week, and I make my bereavement cards by hand. Okay, I make them by hand. And so this week I was just like, I can't do it. I actually lost someone. I'm not going to be able to do, I'm going to take a break. I asked someone else to do it. I should have just mustered up the energy to do it. But it's just like, y'all, I want y'all to stay prayed up, for real. Prayed up. I told y'all in the beginning of the year that this is a year 9. 2025 is a year 9. And it's the closing out and making way for the new, right? And so this video is going to be called the Phoenix Rising, right? It's giving Phoenix Rising energy, right? Because as you know, your girl is going through the chapter bankruptcy. Yeah, like we're having a lot of fun with that. That was another ring. That was another thing. That is why we have to take a little, a little sabbatical. But we're good now. But at the same time, it's just like at the end, you start thinking about the beginnings, right? How did we even get here? Listen, I want to tell my stories. But before I tell my stories, I don't like to always tell the stories because some people do not like to hear the story because they don't like to hear the part that they played in it. Or you feel like, people are rehashing the past and different things of that nature. But I feel like, me telling my story and my testimony is going to help somebody, move forward. Anyway, so how do we get into needing to file the bankruptcy, right? Okay, so when I was in college, I went to Howard and I did not have the financial support all the way of the family like that. For real, we didn't. My grandmother did the best way that she could. She did the best that she could with what she had and everything like that. And so I have been carrying that debt since I was like 17. I have been carrying that debt. That I have been carrying that weight, right, since I was 17, okay? Right? So that's how long we've been carrying it. Now, did we, like when we started having to manage it ourselves, did we listen to the wisdom? No, we did not. We fully partook in the fun, in the festivities. You understand? We did not take heed of those financial lessons that they was always talking about, like Dave Ramsey and everybody. Like, we didn't hear that. We heard it, but we didn't hear it like that for real. You know what I'm saying? And we tried to do what we needed to do, but I don't know. I make a lot. I was making a lot, you know, but it wasn't adding up. The math wasn't mathing. So over time, so now we're in a year 9, we're closing out the cycle of bad financial decisions, or just it's had its roots in certain places and then it just kind of spiraled into its own or whatever. Do I feel any type of way about it? Not really. I feel like I can finally breathe, you know, and I feel like there's this stigma of people like, you know, filing or doing different things. Like, this is the first time, y'all, that I have not paid bills. I pay my bills. So it was very like, what do you mean miss a payment? I've never missed a payment. In fact, that's how I know. They were calling like, are you good? We can work with you because you've never missed a payment. I just told them, hey, you ain't got to worry about me no more. And they said, okay, all right. And they just, hey, it's not even a big deal. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, y'all, first time ever. But it's the closing of this cycle to make way for something else. Talking about the family member that passed away, it was my great aunt on my dad's side. You know, I went to my dad's side of my family, you know, to find my father. And instead, you know, I did find him, but I found, you know, on his side, the maternal instincts, you know, so his aunts, my aunts, his sisters, sister-in-law, you know, I found my cousins, like all of that. Like, I learned how to do my hair. I learned how to put it together. Like, that was, so seeing something like that pass away, like that is a lot, right? So we're in the year 9 and we're closing out those old systems and making way for the new. And I just wanted to share that because I feel like the energy right now, you know, everything is pretty heavy, you know, pretty heavy. And I didn't want this video to be sad, you know, but it's important for us to just take a moment to breathe, you know, take a moment to breathe. And I feel like the message that we gonna pop in today is gonna really give it. Okay. But I really feel like at the end, we start thinking about the beginning. Hold on. So I wanted to say, with the passing of the old heads, right? With the passing of our ancestors, our greats, I hope that, you know, a lot of people, like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have the same relationship that other people have with the relatives. Like, you know how families be having little T, you know what I'm saying? I don't have that. You know what I mean? I get along with everybody. Everybody loves me, but everybody doesn't have the experience. It's like your grandparents are different from what your parents had. Your parents, I don't know who this is, you know? So it's just kind of like, you know, growing up, I was the black sheep. I was always in trouble. I always had an attitude. I was always, you know, on punishment because I had a mouth. Okay, I had a mouth. And over time, we kind of shunned speaking. I don't want to share. Even now on YouTube, like, I don't want to share. I don't want to give you the tea. I don't want to give you the information because it's like the fear that people might not, you know, understand, or it might not resonate or any of that. And so something that I learned from my grandmother is that when the sun set, everybody needs to say what they got to say. We don't let the sun set and you haven't spoken, you haven't said what you need to say. If we got to, you know, come out of the bag, we got to move some furniture around, that is completely fine. But we're going to say what we need to say, and we're going to give people their flowers while they're still living. You know, some people live their entire lives and they have not shared. They have things on their chest. They got animosity. They got all this, you know, pent up energy in their chest, you know, and they haven't shared it. And the sun sets, and now the person that you had beef with, the person that you have a problem with, the person that you should have told you loved them, you see what I'm saying? All that is gone away. And so it's just kind of like, you need to do what you need to do while you have the time to do it, right? Because the great equalizer is going to be, you know, when your time is up, right? So I hope that we can learn from their mistakes, and we can make peace with the past and different things of that nature. I also feel like we can the wisdom. You know, we need to be passing things down. I was riding in the riding in the car today, and I heard on the radio, normally I plug my phone in, okay? But anyway, I heard the radio and they were saying that, you know, October 1st, you know, the funding for our public media, right, is no more. Right. So there's no more PBS Kids. There's no more, you know, all these things that we hold dear to our hearts that we have growing up, and now the kids coming up don't have that. We have to do better at one, funding and creating systems to protect our institutions. You know, especially our communication, how we communicate, what we are communicating, our spaces. We need to do better at, you know, making sure that the paperwork and the financials are together, you know, because now what's going to happen is media is already privatized, but it's going to be, you know, he who pays the bills gets to say something, right? Or they get to influence the minds of the people. So we have to do a better job at protecting the things that we hold dear to us. Okay. That's something and then we also have to, you know, be more vigilant of what we're listening to on social media. Right now we live and exist in echo chambers. You hear what you want to hear because your algorithm said so, right? And we don't have the capacity to deal with anybody to have a different, you know, opinion. We don't want to have a conversation. We don't want to, you know what I'm saying? And even if you use social media, you know, it's easier for your conversation to get cut off, or for, you know, wandering eyes and, you know, people coming around to seep into your situation, you know, your public gathering on social media. So we have to be more vigilant, and we have to create more. Talking about building community. Well, you can't build community if you can't communicate. Anyway, moving on. But that is a part of things closing out, right? Things closing out. So as we bring new things in, we have to do better with those new channels. I'm trying to talk fast because I don't want to be on here too long, because I don't know how long the sun gonna be out. Okay. Yes, but I feel like we are in the season of moving on. Like we are in the season of moving on. Like it's October. It's the fall season. We're getting into the fall, right? It's about to get cold, winter, you know, we're getting into, but I told y'all already about year 9. And so what do you want to bring in for year 1? Next year is going to be year 1. Bring it into, you know, something that you want into your life, right? But the old ways have to fall apart. And I know I'm nervous because I want to talk about this, but it's just kind of like, we have to talk about the endings. We have to talk about the change. We have to talk about the uncomfortable things. You know, we have to talk about that, because it is only through the transformation, the change, that you get to the next part, you know? But the thing is, I was looking at my other videos when I talk about politics and everything like that. I don't want to talk about it because I don't feel like people are going to make tangible change in their lives. Most people do not have a reason to live. They wake up, they're already zombies. They wake up, they do the same thing every day. You know, they don't have anything. You working, but what do you have to show for the things that you've worked for? You know what I'm saying? Some people are counting the days for the aliens to come. Some people are waiting on the apocalypse. Some people, you know, so what can you do to change your life? Girl, I don't care. I'm not trying to make no change, you know? And all this stuff you talking about, I don't want to see it. I don't want to believe it. If it's happening, it's happening. I still have to go to work tomorrow. You know, what does that got to do with me? Right? What is that going to do with me? So it's just kind of like, sometimes out of laziness, out of already feeling like there's no way out, we don't make the change. Sometimes we don't make changes in our relationships because we feel like, well, what else is there? What else is there for me? I'm just supposed to be lonely? You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be lonely? I'm not, because we have that lack mentality, like this is all that's available to us, right? And so we just let stuff seep up. You know, it's like, how hot do the pot have to get before you realize, Kermit, that you need to get out of this pot? Okay, it's too hot for you. How hot do it need to, how many things need to happen in your life for you to be like, hey, that's enough? Okay, I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me, and I don't care what nobody got to say about it, period. Like, how many things have to keep happening? All right. How many times do you have to see somebody for what and who they truly are? You know what I'm saying? I had my eyes open this week too. Let me tell you. I had my eyes open this week too, because it be the people that be closest to you, right? Got the most to say. Amen. They really got so much to say. Listen, I be praying, and I just be praying for holistic protection. Guide my path, right? And I try not to say remove those, or, anybody that's not supposed to be in my life, reveal and move that on out. Because if you say it, it's like as soon as before you even say it, you thinking it. Because I'm like, why am I getting sick? Why do I have this crook in my neck? What is that? Because I don't get sick. I keep the vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D. I keep all of that. I got orange juice. I got all the supplements. What's going on? What is this in my throat? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? And so you be like, what's going on? And then you pray. You gotta, they shooting shots. You gotta pray. You gotta pray on your end. Then you start seeing where it go, where the shots end up, and you like, oh, wow, really? Because wow. And it's just like, I spend a lot of time like thinking, why do people harbor hatred? Why do people harbor envious energy? Why do people harbor that? And sometimes people just do. Some people, they just, the same way I let the Lord use me, some people let other energies use them. You know what I'm saying? I spend my time thinking about positive energy. You know what I think about today? We went to Sally Beauty. And we're going to do another set on our hair. We're going to be live. We're going to be live tomorrow. But that's what I think about. I be thinking about a new lip. I need to get a new lip, a new lash. Okay? Yeah, we going through the little thing like that, but that's nothing. I got a Shein order that I'm ready to, I got a birthday coming up. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was 31. I thought I was 30 going on 31. I'm 31 going on 32. I ain't thought about none of that. That's what I'm saying. And other people really be hating that. They're like, oh, just all that energy. And I don't even look at that. I don't even think about none of that. But some people do. And what I'm learning is you can be like on the up and up, but you can't be so head in the clouds that you're not paying attention to what's right in front of you. You can try to see the best in people so much, but a snake is a snake. Okay, we're using it in the fact that snakes be deceiving. That's what we, you know what I'm saying? We're not, goddess energy, but it's just like, you have to call a spade a spade. You have to. And it's just kind of like, you can't unsee it. Like after you see how somebody moves, you can't unsee it. Because now if you choose to like continue to live with the rose colored glasses on, if anything happens to you, now that's your fault because you chose to not see it. They told you this is how they moving. They told you what they said. That's why your ear itching. Because they said something and you heard it. You know what I'm saying? They say, hey, we trying to get your attention, and they talking. They got something to say. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you can't act like your eye ain't twitching. You can't sit here and act like, you having problems because you want to believe that this person is that and that and that. Excuse my dog. We ordered takeout and she want this other, she want that fortune cookie, but it's just like, you can't pretend you can't see it. Okay, she done seen it now, so she ain't gonna sit here and act like it's not there until it get ate up. She saw it, right? So you have to have that same energy. Let me make sure I'm following through. I be a little rusty after I take a break. That's why I gotta keep going. But what I'm learning, it's like, it don't matter what happened in your life. You have to keep going. You have to keep showing up. It's hard for me to show up when real life stuff be happening. We doing real life paperwork. We talking to real attorneys, like real case numbers. We talking about real stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real business, real finances. Okay. And it's just like, like, girl, I'm not going to be on YouTube right now. And that's the problem. Some people be talking too much. You look, when stuff start happening, it's time to be quiet. It's time to be quiet. It's time to hush. Don't say nothing until the paperwork get proved. Like, don't mess up nothing. Just, okay, so if you don't hear from me, there's a reason why, okay? I'm just letting you know. Like, I have the best intentions, but I was being a little lazy this week. And I had to get on today. I had to get, even if it's raining or whatever, it's Friday, we order Uber Eats, we can get on this live. Anyway, I think I talked about everything. I think I talked about, let's talk about reframing. Let's talk about reframing, because it was kind of depressing, and I kind of smoothed through the video because I didn't want the video to be depressing. That's the energy that I was feeling. Just very heavy energy. Just very heavy. Things are happening to people, you know what I mean? And you can't explain it. Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I feel like you need to be careful driving. You need to be careful in your day-to-day, just moving around, talking to people and different things of that nature, how you deal with people, you know, because you never know what anybody is going through, right? You don't. But also, just be careful for yourself, you know, because we often take life for granted. We do. We take the life for granted. We take the waking up every day for granted. We take the breathing, just good health, good mental energy. We take that for granted. And I don't think that we need to be prayed up for real in these days and in these times. Okay. I'm not saying nothing. But I'm just saying you just need to be on the up and up. This is the best time to make sure that you are good, you know? And I want to reframe, because we often think that change and transformation and even, you know, saying goodbye is a bad thing. We do. But it's just kind of like everybody can't go, right? So that means somebody gotta go, right? You can't take everybody with you. You can't take everything with you, right? So if that means you can't take everything with, something gotta go. You have to get rid of something so that you can make way for the new. Now, I will say, I do try to have my cake and eat it too. Like, that's my favorite thing to do. I like to take a picture of the cake, enjoy the cake, but eventually we have to eat that cake or throw it away or do something, because it's going to go bad. We have to, you can't have both. They can't exist at the same time, right? In the same form, right? So it's like we have to. Okay, so butterflies, they have this fuzzy energy. Like, they're fuzzy, they're weird, they're crawling everywhere, they're getting on your nerves, but then they go and they wrap themselves up in a little cocoon, and then they come out and they are flying around, right? Probably still getting on your nerves because they landed on you and stuff like that. Ignore my dog. The other thing is phoenixes. They have to be burnt to a crisp. I got that one because I got my egg rolls, and my egg rolls were a little burnt. And I was like, see, message. Okay. The other one, to be a star, you have to burn bright. Another thing, stars are by themselves, right? They're not all clustered together, always together. Like, you're going to be spaced out, and everybody is in their constellation. They're in their spot. They're in their place, right? So you have to play your position, right? The next one, it says, for a diamond, you have to be put under pressure, right? You have to be put under the pressure to be the diamond. You have to go through, you have to be tried and tested to reach your optimum level. But it's not fun. It is not fun. It is not the best thing. Like, it is not, like, I'm telling you right now, it is not. You might lose some sleep. Okay, you might lose some sleep. You might lose some weight. Actually, that's the up and up. Look, reframe it. You might lose some weight. You might get a little skinny because you're worrying so much. All right. Or you might gain weight because your cortisol is too high. You might have anxiety a little bit. You know what I mean? You might lose a little bit of your hair, but we have grease for that. You know, you might have you know, things might happen, you know, the getting to the other side. And I think that's what we're afraid of. We're afraid of what does the other side look like. The pain is too large. It's just too uncomfortable, you know. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all, being uncomfortable, I'm used to that. I'm used to things, and it's sad because sometimes things be really good for me, and I be like, right? And then what happened then? You have to create a problem. But I didn't create a problem now. But it's just like, it's okay to breathe. I'm learning that. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to be comfortable. It's okay. But I'm used to being not comfortable. Some people, they're not used to that. They want to stay in their comfort. You know, they don't ever seek anything outside of what they're accustomed to, because why? I have everything that I need here. You see what I'm saying? I'm always trying to explore and do things. I'm a little on the spectrum, but it's just like, I'm the opposite. You know, some people don't like that. Some people, you know, they want to live there, you know, but I feel like when you get stretched, you find out what you're made of. When you face adversity, you find out, how strong you are. You find out what you're really, really made of. Like, greater is he that is in me that is in the world. But what is inside of you? What are you made of, right? If you never faced anything, if you never picked up the weight, you don't know what you can bench press. You don't know what you can do because you never tried nothing. You ain't never did nothing. So what can you do? Like you don't have the fortitude. You got to get the fortitude, but you only get the fortitude when you went through something. Okay, when you didn't have the sleepless nights and you've been crying yourself to sleep and you just confused. And I feel like we don't want to deal with that, but that is how you get your enlightenment. That is how you get to the other side. It is not fun. I always say, like in my other videos, it always works out, because it does. It always works out. Even when it don't seem like it's gonna work out, it is going to work out. But the road that it take you to working out is not fun. And you know what? They never tell you anything. They just show you the vision of the end. At the end, this is what it's going to be, right? Yeah, you're going to be debt free at the end, but they never tell you what, but it's like you never, like if you don't take the steps, you don't learn the necessary lessons along the way, because it's not a destination. It is the journey. That is what it's about. Because that's how you get your chops. You get your chops from the journey. The destination is just the destination, So it's like I'm finding the happiness within the journey. Another thing is I'm finding the happiness in sharing with other people. Because some people, I don't know, like it's not even some people. I realize that it's just some people just don't, they never had it. They don't know where to get it. Like if I was really down on my luck, I know how to survive. You know what I mean? Like if I were to lose everything and how to live out of my car, I know exactly what to do. I never had to do that, but I have those skills necessary. Some people don't have that, I know what the food stamps look like. I know what, different things look like, I know, but it's just like, some people would face these things and it would take them out. Like their problems would take them out before anything else did. Before stress got to them and everything, like the problem itself would take you out. And it's just like, I love problems. I do. I love problems because I like solving problems. I solve problems. That's what I do, problem solving. But it's just kind of like, we have kids coming up and they don't, like the privilege is a little there. I would never want my kids to know, but they would need to know, because you just never know. You can never say where you would end up, right? And if you find yourself ending up somewhere that, you a little down on your luck, ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But we're not going to stay there though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed and fortunate to never have to go through that. And even in me feeling like, wow, this is, you know what I'm saying? We're having Uber Eats. We have things, like we have things. We have, like, we still have our things. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have, and even then, it's not even the not having, it's they don't have the mental fortitude, the emotional fortitude to do what they need to do, like to get back up and keep swinging. Like that's what scares me. Some people, again, are not living for anything, not living for nothing. They don't care about anything, right? There's nothing that they're living for, nothing they want to see, nothing they want to do. They don't have no ambition outside of what they do every day. Like that's it. That's it. Period. They can't see outside. They can't see nothing past nothing. They living for today. So that's why we need in these times, right? And those type of people can be easily influenced. We need to be prayed up, because if that's what you have walking around, if that's what you have, you working with these type of people, you got to stay prayed up, right? You got to stay prayed up, because the moment they feel like they're going to take what you got, the moment, you see what I'm saying? So it's just like, you have to stay prayed up. You have to. And then also you have to keep reaching for more. And even if you're surrounded by those types of people, you have to still show up. Show up. If they feel like it's too bright, get some sunglasses or something. We'll have that, as a party favor. But it's just like, don't give up. Don't give up on your life. Somebody said don't give up on God. Let me tell you, they are really like, I just feel like everything is going to be good. And it's hard because I would never get on here like when I'm going through the thick of it. But I'm going to be honest with you. Some people I be reading on the Reddit, they go through a lot. And I didn't go through a lot. I was going through like, what's going to happen? What does this look like? I've never done this before. I need to know. I need a play-by-play and da-da-da-da-da, But it's just kind of like it worked. It worked. I can't even talk, y'all. It worked out better than I anticipated. It really did. I'm sorry I burped. I had some Uber Eats, but it's just like, yeah, that's all I wanted to tell y'all. We're going to be vlogging. We're going to be doing our hair. You see my hair done grew. But I didn't want this video to be too sad. I have all these notes. And in my notes, I wrote depressing AF because it was, it's sad. Who want to talk about that? You know what I'm saying? I feel like the other videos are going to be a little bit better, but it's just like I had to get this one out because we are closing chapters. I told y'all that this year is a 2025. It's the year 9, and then next year is going to be year 1. So this is the perfect time. Any loose ends that you have, you need to go ahead and be closing that out. You need to close out any loose ends, any old business, anything you want to get rid of. If you want to do a cut and clear, blockbuster, all of that, if you need to go ahead and be doing that. Okay, you need to go ahead and be doing that because this is the best time to do it. I feel like old cycles, old systems, old belief systems, patterns. I had pulled me some cars the other day and they said, you making excuses. I pulled them this morning. I pulled them this morning, y'all. I pulled my cars this morning and they said, you making excuses. Making excuses. Strength card, get up, girl. I'm like, ooh. But yeah, like, that's why I wanted to do this video. I didn't want to do it because it's kind of sad. Like, I didn't want to talk about sad stuff. I don't like to talk about sad stuff. But the reason we don't like to talk about sad stuff is because we don't like the history behind it or the feelings that we feel when we talk about sad things, But it's only through talking about the sad things that we can get to the happier times and we can understand why decisions are made. We can understand that if we don't talk about things, that's how history repeats itself. Right? So I have to share. I feel like when I get something, I just have to share. I have to share the energy, especially because in these times, we need to get it together. It's October. You have October, November, December. So yes, I want to do my streams and any days that I miss, I'm going to make them up. I have a whole planner. I have a planner and a list, right? For me to do my lives. I was trying to get the live to work on the shorts and the regular, but when I updated the software, it went away. So I got to start over, but I needed to get this video done today. And I didn't want to be like emotional talking on, cause shorts, they be talking and I ain't got time for that. But it's just like, we're going to be going live every day. Tomorrow we're doing our hair. We're doing an update routine. We're doing all of that. I might make a video, but at the same time, I'm not even going to say that because if I make a video, I got to edit the video and we don't know when you're going to get that. So we're going to have to go live. We're going to have to go live. We're going to have to go live a couple of times, because we're going to be doing hair tomorrow. But I wanted to share that with y'all. I want y'all to stay prayed up, stay encouraged. I'm encouraged. I want y'all to know I'm doing good, better than great, all of that for real. And I mean it. I really do. But I needed to get this video done. I will see you tomorrow. They're going to be short, by the way, because we're going to be doing it daily.